Today on Hatching for Health, I mean, the Guinness World Record, we have it right here. You guys are in this, right?
Yes,
From 2022. And that's because I know that they stated in here the rarest form of discordant twinning.
Yes. They didn't actually discover her until about 3 weeks before I gave birth.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, you only thought you had one baby in there?
Yeah, for most of my pregnancy. And had to go into the doctor's office and the doctor said, well, did they tell you? And I'm like, no, they didn't tell me. And then she said, well, you're having twins. And I said, okay. And she goes, but I need you to get over that real fast because we need to talk about baby B.
Welcome to an all-new episode of Hatching for Health. We're here to inspire hope, spotlight rare battles, and unite families. And today we are joined by a lovely mother and daughter, and we're going to talk about a condition she was born with that is not too familiar. It is known as Primordial Dwarfism. So thank you guys both for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And we have had you on before, but we loved you so much, we wanted you to come back.
Well, we're happy to be back, very much.
Yeah, and I love the red hair. You guys, are you natural reds?
No, we actually dyed her hair red.
I love it, yeah. It's
From blonde to red, but it's
really
better. Yeah.
I had pink hair, I had purple hair, and then I went to red.
Wow, everything. So tell me, so you're 24 now. Okay, you came on the show last year at 23, which is a shocker because, you know, looking at you, you look much younger, right? And I think that's one of the things that, you know, in life you find difficult because people don't, you're like, hey, I'm in my 20s, you know?
And it's interesting to be around people my age because they don't think I'm like them. So it's like really awkward. I'm like, I'm the same age as you.
Well,
I'm very young.
Something that often happens, especially if she's with her sister, is they will greet her twin like you would any normal, any other adult. But then when they greet her like a child. They'll raise their voice, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And instead of just a regular greeting. And
of course.
She always has to say, I'm 24. And like this past weekend at a restaurant, the waitress handed her a kitty cup and was so embarrassed when she discovered she was 24. And was, we were like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get mad at it anymore. I'm just gotten used to it. I'm like, I kind of laugh it off now. It's funny.
Of course. So you mentioned sister. So you're actually a twin. Okay. So, and she does not have dwarfism.
No,
correct?
My sister is just like my mom, but actually taller. Believe it or not.
And they are identical twins.
Where do you come to her? On her hip? Where are you?
I think you're about her chest.
So you guys are twins and you're staying next to each other, and you would never know it, obviously, from the condition. So uniquely, because I know we talked a little bit last time, I mean, the Guinness World Record, we have it right here. You guys are in this, right?
Yes,
From 2022. And that's because I know that they stated in here the rarest form of discordant twinning.
Yes, I know, discordant twinning, yes.
Because you guys you're twins, it's dwarfism, the type of dwarfism you have is rare as it is, but then the fact that you're both born twins and one of you have it, one of you doesn't. So how did this come about? How did they find you?
Well, because of some of the coverage that she's had, they knew that had to be such a rare thing. And so they contacted us, had us submit all the medical paperwork and just
like
talk to
they both came out
genealogists. And yeah, it was, it was a lengthy process, but they're very nice to work with. And then they awarded it to him. So we got the nice, awesome plaques. They're on the wall.
That's so neat. So tell me, with this condition, is it something that you can be made aware of through like DNA testing, like as a mother with the mom and dad?
That's a good question. It is a genetic mutation. So I'm not sure if that's something they could find beforehand. Mm-hmm. They are currently studying her DNA because she has a form of primordial dwarfism they have not identified yet. So they don't know her particular type because there are subtypes under primordial dwarfism. And she doesn't have any of the ones they've discovered so far. So they're studying her DNA to try and figure that out.
Okay. So when you did like ultrasounds during your pregnancy, was it an obvious size difference in the babies?
Well, they didn't actually discover her until about 3 weeks before I gave birth. Mm-hmm. And
you only thought you had one baby in there?
Yeah, for most of my pregnancy. Wow. And mind you, this was 24 years ago, so technology was a lot different than it is now. We didn't have, the 3D, 4D scans. So everything seemed to be pretty normal about my pregnancy.
Surprise.
So
you're surprised
looking
too.
for twins wasn't really anything that they thought they should do.
Yeah.
And then during my extended ultrasound, which is the one where they usually
Anatomy scan?
like, yeah, they do measure everything, all that. It was, about an hour and a half long. They the ultrasound tech said, you need to go talk to your doctor. And that was the longest elevator ride I think I've ever had in my life.
So they couldn't tell you anything?
Yeah,
in
they
your
couldn't tell you,
ultrasound
which
after an
usually
hour and a
they're
half?
not allowed to.
Okay.
So then had to go into the doctor's office, and the doctor said, well, did they tell you? And I'm like, no, they didn't tell me. And then she said, well, you're having twins. And I said, okay. And she goes, but I need you to get over that real fast because we need to talk about baby B.
Okay.
And so I didn't have any time to really process twins.
Yeah.
Because they immediately went into, they saw that she was a lot smaller. They saw she had a hole in her heart and that she was missing part of her brain. So they were able to diagnose the Dandy Walker in utero, which is where she's missing part of her brain.
Okay. And where is that? Is it,
For
an
her, it's
obvious
back
thing?
here.
Okay.
And then she's also missing the corpus callosum, which is what separates the two hemispheres.
Really? And you would never know by looking at you. So only on a brain scan is this something that you would see.
Right. And the brain is pretty incredible, so it figures out how to
Yeah, I was going to
overcome
say,
things.
because you neurologically are just as smart as any other 24-year-old.
Like, it's crazy because when I talk to people, they don't really think that I'm special needs, really. They just don't think I don't have that look, I guess.
They say she doesn't look special needs.
I'm like, it's not.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Like, I tell them, like, it's not a look, it's not a style, okay?
Yeah.
You can't just wear it. It just is what it is,
Yeah, that's very interesting. So that, you said the brain as well as a hole in the heart. So did you have surgery on your heart?
So
or
I
did-
had a long time ago, back when I was a baby,
Yeah.
I had open heart surgery and then that's why I still have the scar. But it's not as bad now. I really don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it
She,
kind of
Cool
stretches
feature,
out
me.
there, but they do a good job.
They
you know?
did an excellent job. And they tried to wait until she was 5 pounds, but she kept getting pneumonia and whatnot. So they needed to go ahead and fix the hole. And so when she was 7 months old, she still didn't weigh 5 pounds yet, but they went ahead and did the surgery.
Man.
And
How much did she weigh at birth?
she was 1 pound and 7 ounces at birth.
Wow.
So very, very
I
little.
mean, yeah, that's amazing. Do you have photos? We should. I'd love to see them.
I do have some photos.
Share those with
Yeah.
us. And then how many pounds was your other daughter?
4 pounds, 4.8 ounces.
Okay, so
So
they're-
she
both
was
of
a
them were
pretty
very little.
normal size for a twin.
So how long was she like in the NICU?
108 days.
Wow. And your other one, did she have to go to the NICU for a
Only
little
2
bit?
weeks. And she only had to stay a little bit longer because one of the NICU nurses ended up getting the chicken pox.
Okay.
And so they had to keep all the babies in there a little bit longer and
gosh.
inoculate them for chicken pox. And yeah, it was a little scary.
So did that mean you and your husband like basically had to go home with one baby and the other one? or did y'all okay.
Which I was still in school at the time. I was in college. And so it actually was a nice, like, I feel like it was a silver lining to the situation because it allowed me to go right back into
Adapt
school
to
and
the
adapt
baby.
to having one. And, I knew she was in good hands. So I was able to go up every day and visit and whatnot.
Yeah. What hospital was this?
This was at Scott and White up in Temple.
Okay. So not here in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. So even the surgery on the heart was done up there.
That was done in Austin. So
Okay.
they had to transport her to Austin because she
wow, at 5 ounces or
at
5,
5 pounds,
of
yeah.
a baby.
And so I got to stay in the Ronald McDonald House while she was there because it was a 6-week long hospital stay. And man, that Ronald McDonald House was a big blessing.
Yeah. So at birth, was there like any difficulties as it relates to the actually both of them coming out? Like
Well, I had to have a C-section. So they were born early. And so I went in for my normal stress test like you typically do toward the end of your pregnancy. And they said, oh, the amniotic fluid is low. You need to come back in an hour and have babies. And so I said, wait, can we make it 2.5? Yeah, I need to get my stuff together. I wasn't ready. So went home, got the stuff, and went back up. And
other than having to do a C-section, both came out breathing. Everything was okay.
well,
just knowing what was to
we
come.
had about 13 people in the delivery room because they had 3 for her, 3 nurses specifically for her, 3 for her sister, and then all the other people. And so they whisked her away right away to get her on oxygen. So I
Okay.
didn't even get to see her. They kind of did a passing, like, here's your kid, bye.
Yeah.
Similar to Sierra, but yeah, they took her right away. They knew she was going to need special stuff.
Okay. When it comes time to like the heart surgery, I mean, you've now gone through the surprise of 2 babies, thankfully both able to be born and taken care of right away. But just then having to kind of, get so far along, and then it's like, now we got to do a heart surgery. When all along you're like, I have a healthy baby, everything's like, what was that like for you guys as a family? Just because you had a son already, that you're taking care of.
My son's my bonus son is what I like to call him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, so for him, for her and the surgery, it was really scary. I remember asking the doctor, so you're going to stop my kid's heart? And it's like this big.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, but we've done this a million times. This is, something we do routinely. Yeah. And
Isn't that amazing?
I just had faith that it was going to work out. I had a sense of peace.
That's good. Yeah. That's wonderful. And look how you've turned out. You're like, you own your own business. The bracelets you're making, you're just getting better and better.
Yeah. Some of her techniques are much more advanced. I can't do them.
I know. These are just gorgeous. So tell us about this company. This is your company, right?
My business. So recently I had a craft fair not long ago. And every time we go, people assume it's my mom's business instead of mine. Like, I do.
I know. So I always have to say, this is her business.
You're like, Mom, hide. This is me.
And you want to tell them why you started?
To tell them where I am and why I'm different, the whole story.
Of course.
And sometimes they're like, oh, really? Like, kind of like, oh, okay. But no, it's actually my business.
And it's called, it's a Cine size.
It's a Cine size.
Okay.
Yeah, because her nickname is Cine. And she wanted for when people said, oh, I love your bracelet, for them to be able to go, oh, it's a Cine size. So
I love it. And they did a great job. Your logo and everything. It's a mermaid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of
this
course.
is one of your favorite things, mermaids, right? Or you were going to start becoming a mermaid, I hear. But tell us, how do you just drum up a business like this? You've got professional labels on there. I heard that you sold over 100 your first year. How did you just get that inspiration to do it all?
Honestly, because I wanted to have, like, at the time I was really depressed and I didn't know what to do. So I was like, what? Might as well just start a business. I'm not in college. I tried it. Overwhelming. So I decided to do a business instead.
Okay. When you say overwhelming, was it, feeling like you don't look like the majority, or was it just the school itself?
I didn't think I looked like the majority because around other specialty people. And so in the college, I didn't really feel that different. I think it was just the crowd and my height made it overwhelming.
Yeah.
Being 4'4" is actually not the easiest.
So you're 4'4".
4'4".
Okay. What can we compare that to? I know there's an actor out there.
Yes. So a lot of people don't think she has dwarfism because she doesn't look like the type of dwarfism that people most often associate with, which is achondroplasia. And that's what, I don't know if he specifically has that one. There are many forms of dwarfism, but Peter Dinklage, when I tell people that he's actually an inch taller than she is, their mind is blown because, they think she's so tall, but yet when they think of him as somebody who has dwarfism.
Yeah. And then he's like actually a little bit taller than you, right?
Yeah, he's
so that's
an inch taller.
To put it into perspective. Yeah. So you probably go through crowds like, somebody put me on your shoulders, they're just like towering.
It's the shame of being around other little people. It's very interesting because I'm seen very tall.
Okay.
And so they think of me like normal lambs and like taller.
Exactly.
They don't really think I'm like them. And so I had this experience a few times. I'm like, okay, like what else could I do here? And so we decided to just do a fake nose ring, and that seemed to help. What are the odds?
You're like, this will make me look a little more mature. Okay, we have to take a commercial break, but I want to talk more about the doctor appointments and what your life looks like as you go along. So we have a great show for you. Stick around. We'll be right back after this break.
She doesn't really like going in the bars and whatnot because it's so crowded, and she's always, at elbow height for everybody, and so she gets elbowed in the face.
That's why I don't go to clubs anymore.
Yeah. You're like, no, thank you. Take me somewhere else. Are you dating anyone? Welcome to Arabella Chiropractic. We are located right here in the heart of Houston, right down the street from Lakewood Church off 59 in Edlow. We welcome you to come visit us for any of your chiropractic or physical therapy needs. We have a licensed massage therapist on board, as well as a tech that's trained to do our ultrasound and stim with hot packs. We also offer physical therapy and, of course, the chiropractic visits where you can get adjusted and discuss any of those aches and pains to see how we can better help you feel better. Here at Arabella Chiropractic, we want your experience to be amazing. So come see us here at Arabella Chiropractic, where you can discover wellness through chiropractic excellence. Welcome back from the break. If you have just joined us, we are talking about primordial dwarfism. Probably not something you've heard before. In fact, there's only 200 people globally that have even been diagnosed, and we have a twin at that. So we are here talking to Sienna and her mother, Chrissy. So we were talking quite a bit about so many array of things, but there at the end about the medical part of it. And, you know, you had one of the holes closed in the heart. There's still a small one that they say is okay to live with. And, you know, it seems like you're doing fine. But the G-tube, we were kind of talking about that. You've now had that removed. Was it feeding tube?
It's been out for like a few years now.
Yeah,
Okay.
when she was 7, we had it. We were able to take it out, and then it's supposed to naturally close on its own, but it didn't. So we had to get it surgically closed.
And what was the necessity for that? Like, just wasn't able to eat like solids or something?
Well, no, she could eat. They just thought she wasn't getting enough calories, and that's why she was so small, because they didn't diagnose her with primordial dwarfism until she was about 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we missed that. So being only a pound and some ounces, having the hole in the heart, knowing there was some missing part of the brain, they did not have a diagnosis then.
Right. The primordial dwarfism wasn't even on the radar. And honestly,
Okay.
they didn't even say dwarfism was on the radar. So we went to gastroenterologists, cardiologists, all the ologists. And then finally, after being followed by the endocrinologist for a year to see if it was pituitary related, that came back fine. And so they said, well, why don't we go to the genealogist? And I was like, well, what's a geneticist going to do?
Yeah.
And so we went there. It was Texas Children's, saw the geneticist there. And there happened to be a visiting geneticist from Belgium there. And the doctors here said, do you mind if he comes in as well? And we're like, we've seen, a bazillion doctors, what's
Sure.
one more?
Yeah.
And so he came in and he said, oh, I actually know what tests you need to run because I've met somebody with this, what she has. She has primordial dwarfism. Here are the tests you need to run, and that's it.
Unbelievable.
So if we had not been at that doctor's appointment at that time where he was
When he
there,
was
we
visiting.
still might be searching.
I know. So 200 globally. Do you know what the numbers were when she got diagnosed? That's been
It's
now
about the
12
same.
years.
It's because unfortunately a lot of times they do pass at young ages.
Okay.
So it's still about the same. And in fact, I actually went to elementary with someone who had primordial dwarfism, and he
Wow.
passed when he was 25. But I remember after getting the diagnosis, of course, the first thing I did was go to the computer and I'm searching, and
Yeah.
I happened to hear in the background the TV in the living room, and I said, oh my gosh, that sounds like Kevin's voice. Kevin was the guy I went to school with, and I ran in there. It wasn't him, but it was in fact his sister who also had primordial dwarfism.
Wow.
And so her voice was very similar, and so of course I connected with that family so that they could. I had a lot of questions.
Of course.
And so what are the odds?
What
that
are the odds?
I would be in school, and so I feel like God was preparing.
I bet. And how is the sister doing? Is she okay? Is she? So what is it that caused him to pass away? Is it?
He had an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm, and from his death, they've actually done research and come up with ways to look for the potential aneurysms, and they're able to help save lives that way now.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So they actually utilized his situation to learn quite a bit.
Yep.
As far as like your, healthcare visits, is it something that, like I would go in for an annual physical or like Well Woman's? Is that similar to what you're doing now?
Yes, and honestly, the Well Woman's are quite traumatic because they're not really situated for somebody so small. So even though they do have pediatric, equipment, it's not still quite small because she's
Yeah.
still very small. So
Yeah.
it's quite traumatic.
So is there like a special one that you go to, or you
She just had, it's just your typical.
just a typical? Yeah. I know, because they're not. There's
no
seeing adults.
specialty, yeah.
So it's like, and if you go to the pediatric, it's not. There's not one. It doesn't work like that. So, I can understand that.
At least not that I know of. If somebody knows it, that would be great.
I know, right? You're like, all 200 around the world come find you. Like
That's been honestly a hard thing, is figuring out, what doctors do I need to go to? What are these, are there special things that I can do equipment wise, and things like that. And because even though she's taller, she's not very strong. So even though she might be able to reach something, doesn't mean she could actually get it down or hold it,
Yeah. Do you play like any kind of like sport activities or anything?
I used to when I was in school. After I got out of school, I just stopped playing sports.
She was in cheer for a bit, but
Okay.
she does have scoliosis, and it was starting to really act up, and so she had to stop cheering.
Okay.
But I was in school dance as well. So I was in school dance, out school cheer.
Okay, you were doing quite a
really-
bit.
And then I was in Special Olympics on top of that. So
Okay.
I did a
Wow.
lot of things.
I know. Do you actively do like any type of like workout and stuff just to like
Not
kind of
really
keep your-
anymore.
No.
I wish she would, but I can't get her to do it yet. I'm trying to get her into yoga.
It just sounds boring
Yeah.
to me because like I tried the gym and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I won't go back. I tried yoga a long time ago. It makes me nauseous, so I stopped doing that.
Really.
I miss being part of a team,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't found anything that I really like.
Okay.
That won't harm my body in the long run.
I see.
So.
And well, you talked about maybe like auditioning or learning about like, doing kind of acting with the mermaid aspect. What have you done, towards making that happen?
Honestly, I don't know what I can do because you have to have a separate qualification for
Okay.
certain things. And because of my health issues and my back and my size, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, we have not been able to find her
So-
one of the professional mermaid tails because
Yeah.
they don't make them her size. So
Okay.
we would have to have it custom made.
For
to
sure,
fit
yeah.
her. But
So-
she does have a good one. She has a pretty one.
Yeah.
And so I learned that like you can have your own business as a mermaid. And so I went that route with my jewelry.
And that's why her logo is mermaid.
Yeah.
And her
So-
t-shirts are mermaid, and we have mermaid displays.
Yeah. So what are your plans with your company?
So my plan is to start hiring other people with other different types of disabilities.
Okay.
Not just variety, but different types. So
Yeah.
that way everyone has a chance to have independence.
I
So
love
for
that.
now, I'm trying it for myself, so I make sure it's a success.
Of course.
She wants to be the next Kendra Scott.
Yeah.
Thankfully, people have donated beads, or if they've broken jewelry, they'll donate it to her, and
Mm-hmm.
'cause she'll take those, and that way they don't end up just in the trash, and she'll upcycle them and make them into something pretty. Like this right here was a broken necklace that my grandmother wore, and so she took it and turned it into bracelets for
Mm. That's
me.
a great point. Yeah. You always have like something that breaks that you're like, oh my God, I love this. And then you're like, what do I do? It's like, well, let me turn it into something beautiful.
Yep.
I've got you. So with your sister, and I know you have a brother too, but do you guys hang out much? Like, what is the lifestyle like? Because you live here in town with your mom.
Yes.
Okay. And then is your sister, she doesn't live there. Where does she?
So she lives in her own house.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's a country artist, so she lives.
She's a country artist. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Do you go to her concerts? Is she like performing already?
No,
She
I
goes. Yeah,
I
been
used to go
some.
to concerts sometimes, but not all the time.
She doesn't really like going in the bars and whatnot because it's so crowded, and
Yeah.
she's always, at elbow height for everybody, and so she gets elbowed in the face.
That's why I don't go to clubs anymore.
Yeah. You're like, no, thank you. Take me somewhere else. Are you dating anyone?
No,
No?
I'm not dating anybody.
Okay. No one of interest in your,
I haven't met anybody.
haven't met anybody? Well, I
I'm
mean,
at home all
you gotta put
day,
yourself
so
out
I'm like,
there.
I'm not going
I think,
anywhere.
yeah, these little events are probably great for you to be a part of,
And we have the Little People Conference coming up in July. So
where is that?
it's going to be in Austin this year. So
Okay.
that's perfect.
So what is that exactly? Is that every type
it's
of,
like a national conference for like everyone around the world come together in one hotel. Literally one
Neat.
hotel.
it's a lot of people.
okay. Yeah. And as far as like, I mean, life expectancy, is those situations where, someone does pass away, is that just like a situation that like he had an, brain aneurysm? Like, is that a common thing that, dwarfism can cause, or is it?
I'm not really sure anymore. They have made a lot of advances. She has lost several of her friends who have PD.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There've been, I don't know, I think we've probably lost 6 or 7 in the last few years.
What were the reasoning?
Various reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, but nothing that you can really do anything about.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know, we know that it might be a shorter life, but then we don't dwell on it either. So.
Of course, yeah. I just didn't know if there's certain, symptoms like in the organs that others maybe didn't fully develop or not.
Certain conditions, like maybe might have scoliosis, heart issues, some might have lung issues, liver issues. So it really depends on what type of PD you have.
Okay.
I'm just luckily I have 3 issues and not more.
Okay, and those 3 would be?
Or I have chronic lung disease, heart issues, and then of course the scoliosis.
Well, and her hearing, she's hard of hearing because of her primordial dwarfism. So many people who are hard of hearing, it's not related to necessarily their bones. Her bones are too small. They're smaller than they should be, which is why she's hard of hearing. And so she can't do the cochlea or anything like that.
Okay.
Like when I was younger, having hearing aids where I used to like hide my hearing aids in my hair and I didn't want to show them as much. But now I'm older, like I like to show them more now that I'm older.
She's like, I don't care, get over it.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally had like a guy ask me what a hearing aid is in school. No joke.
Really?
I literally like take it out, like this is what a hearing aid does.
You're like, I'm undercover. This is actually a CIA.
I totally could.
One time somebody asked her, they said, what accent is that? And she said, you mean my speech impediment?
You're like, no, it's CIA. I mean,
I could have, you never know.
Yeah. You have beautiful teeth, by the way.
Oh.
Is that natural? Did you do braces?
So I did have braces. I had expanders because my mouth was too small.
Okay.
And then a lot of times the dental would pull out some more teeth. They
Yeah,
actually measure my teeth. They said my teeth are really big.
I was going to say, that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the people with primordial dwarfism, their teeth are not very good. They're often soft, and a lot of them end up with dentures. But she had 2 rows of teeth, and so many orthodontists wanted to actually pull them out, but we found one who had a technique named after him, and he said, nope, we don't need to pull them. I can get it done. And so voila.
Great. Yeah. You're another one of the lucky ones. I do have a gift for you. So if you guys can bring that over. It's a little basket we put together with some fun stuff. We were looking for mermaid stuff, but we've got like, like a candle, a coffee cup, movie.
Weighs as much as you do.
A movie gift card so you guys can go see a new movie that's
see Little
out.
Mermaid.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to watch this movie forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
I haven't
gosh,
seen
you're
it.
right. It's out right now. Oh, that's perfect. I couldn't find Mermaid, but I got you a Mermaid movie ticket. I want to go see that too. It looks
I've
so
seen
good.
a new mermaid reality show that's on Netflix and it's really good.
No way.
Season. I've seen all the seasons already.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up. Well, great. Well, I'm so glad you guys joined us again.
Thank you.
We will definitely stay in touch and, continue on your journey. And I'll have to purchase some of these after the show. So
Awesome.
we'll see you
Well,
guys
thank
soon.
you for having us.
Of course, of course. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Hatching for Health. We'll see you right back here next Saturday.